Hello and welcome to the Mortal Kombat Minute, the podcast where we analyze, criticize, and memorialize the 1995 film Mortal Kombat, one mystical minute at a time. I'm Phil Casper from philcasper.net.
I'm Spanish from GameFixShow.com.
And we are on minute number 22. This minute starts with a skull projection floating in the sky above our fighters and ends with Johnny Cage sarcastically asking Sonya Blade to call his agent.
Yes, of course. Why wouldn't he, right? He's the movie star. But, yeah.
Well, but first let's start with the hallucinations and
let's do that.
The mystical skulls floating through the sky.
Oh, wait, it's a hallucination.
Is it a hallucination? It may be a hallucination.
I don't know where you're coming from.
Could be. I don't know. It's psychedelic. There we go.
Okay, all right.
Let's put it that way.
That's fair.
So we start. So in the last minute, Raiden says, "Oh, look, it has begun," and you hear these swirling, windy sounds.
Oh, we don't see anything yet.
Well, you hear them. Yeah, you don't see anything. But
with the boat not rocking.
Did
I point that out?
Yeah, of course not. And okay. we have an above shot looking down at our fighters, who are looking up at something, and there's flashing lights happening, and Fog Machine Guy is still making his money. There's a ton of fog on the deck of the boat still.
Still making his money.
And then we switch over to these floating skulls, or one floating skull, I should say, that has a snake kind of.
It looks like a tongue.
Sky. Yeah.
I think with okay, so hear me out. So
okay.
I'm glad you said that because I think the skull had like a tongue. That's what I got out of it. I tried to slow it down as much as I could to see exactly what it was, and it didn't look like. The skull version didn't look like a snake.
Right. It looked like but it did look like it looked like it had something with a face of its own.
Okay.
That was coming through the jaw. And I did have, and for some reason my screenshot did not save when I thought it did, but I was able to freeze a frame where there is a tongue coming from whatever flew through the open jaw of the skull.
Yeah.
So it is its own mystical being, whatever it is, projection of some sort, and it sounds like such a chaotic storm happening above them, but like there's no like the fog is very still on the deck of the boat, like like nobody's being blown back or anything like that from any windy forces. But then we cut to this shot of Shang Tsung doing some sort of summoning thing with his hands, and he's getting buffeted by some wind, it looks like, and some of the battens from the boat are shaking and rocking. The boat itself, like you said, not rocking. The boat isn't.
Nope.
But other things are attached to the boat. I don't know.
He as in Shang Tsung is. I mean, this is his moment right now, right? This is his big moment to say the phrase, "It has begun," but in the only way Shang Tsung can deliver that line. It has begun. Did I do it?
Yeah, there we go. And he's like, "Oh yeah, this is my big moment. This is time to show off my power." Here we go. It has begun.
Well, and why he does that, and like you said before, he's got his eyes kind of roll back in his head,
and his nostrils are flared out. It looks like he's putting a lot of strain into this summoning power.
But if you see it, he is behind him. You can see like the fog behind him, kind of like swirling around him and stuff like that.
One thing that was very interesting is that the fog starts to take on his form.
I'm trying to get to that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I cut you off. I am so sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. It does. It takes on a human form, or whatever you want to call it. But then as he says it has begun, you could see the form actually like kind of go away from him and kind of go up in the sky. And then you see a face with what looks like some kind of helmet.
Right. Almost a skull.
Who could that be?
Exactly. Yes. I'm like, hold on. Whenever I first saw this, I did not have as much in-depth knowledge of the Mortal Kombat series.
Yeah, probably most people didn't when they first saw this.
I think maybe I only played like Mortal Kombat 1, maybe a little bit of Mortal Kombat 2 at this point, and I'm like, who the heck is that? What is that? Is it a weird like Sphinx thing or something? But actually, now having the knowledge now that I did not back then,
Raiden's brother.
It's,
Did you know that?
it does in fact look like the Emperor.
It is
Shao Kahn.
It is in fact the Emperor. Yes, Shao Kahn. Right.
And then of course, because we didn't have enough snakes flying out of things, like there are 2 additional snakes that fly out of Shao Kahn's eyes.
See that this one, I will agree with you. These are snakes coming out of his eyes. The skull was a tongue. Okay. That's where I'm at. Okay. I will fight you for it, but that's fine anyway.
Okay, yeah, no, that works. So yeah, they're either snakes or actually they might be serpentine dragons. So a snake-like dragon as well.
I think you're right on that. Actually, I think you hit it on the head.
So so that because it's keeping in the theme with Mortal Kombat, with the dragon symbol as the icon, the emblem, and even then, like when Shang Tsung was summoning. And showing off his power, you do see a cloudy dragon serpentine figure like float in front of him.
Well, that's it's on his coat too. Keep that in mind. So
right, yeah,
on that black coat. But there is a shot of those snakes coming out of Shao Kahn's eyes, or whatever whatever we're calling them. There is a shot where if you freeze it at the right moment, you'll see the head of one of them and the mouth open.
Oh, I might have missed that frame.
It is there. It is very, very there. I think it's if if you're playing at home and you have all of these split up by a minute, it's in the 24th second of this minute. That's where I've seen it, and it looks like the eye. It looks like an open mouth. So I would say yes, these are definitely snakes.
Awesome.
Or the serpentine dragon. Yeah,
I'm glad we could agree on something Spanish. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And now that like the storm starts to subside and like it starts, we fade into a different shot altogether. Very wide shot of a very creepy looking island.
Yeah.
Very otherworldly looking island with Shang Tsung's boat off on the right of the frame. And then a couple of small boats starting to depart from the main boat.
It's an island that you would probably see in Sea of Thieves. I think if you play Sea of Thieves, you know what I'm talking about.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would definitely be something that I saw. And this is not the Sea of Thieves, though. This is actually the Lost Sea. It's a body of water that surrounds Shang Tsung's island. So we would assume this is Shang Tsung's island.
Yes. Very much. I would say yes. Yeah.
And so the Lost Sea's exact location is not known.
Well, it's lost
because it's lost, exactly. But it exists somewhere between the Earth realm and Outworld. And whenever I first saw this, I had absolutely no idea that we were already in another realm altogether, or in the in between realm. I'm like, okay, wow, they just teleported or something to this other part of the ocean wherever they're going to be fighting,
wherever they are. But
wherever this is.
We have that long shot. You see the ship, but then off in a little bit behind the ship, a little bit, you see a couple of longboats, a couple of long rowboats come out, and they have like mini dragon heads.
Yep, they do.
I love that. And
for those that were paying attention from the beginning of our entire podcast series, these two, from what I've read, these are the same boats that were used during minute 9 that transported Liu Kang to the Temple of Light.
Except they modified them.
They modified them. They took off the roof, and then they affixed these these sculpted dragon heads to the bow of the small boats.
It's so funny, but it's fun. But then as you see the boats kind of just sailing closer and closer to the island, you see the guys actually rowing. You actually see the actors. See, this is what I appreciate. There is a long shot of the longboats. I want to call them let's just call them rowboats.
Rowboats, yeah.
And there is a long shot of them. And you actually do see Liu Kang sitting in one of them. Right. So I do appreciate that, because like a lot of times you would see this and it would just be like random people in a boat, and then it wouldn't matter until you see a close up of them.
Right. But in here we actually do zoom in a little bit.
Yeah.
we do see
I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, me too. But also, like, well, one thing, like the guy's rowing the boat, and one guy, like, I guess that's steering.
Yeah.
Are these? They're hooded, so I imagine they're Shang Tsung's cronies. Are they? Could they potentially be shadow priests?
Well, they could be, but in a later minute, we're actually going to see some of them take those robes off.
Oh, okay.
So we haven't gotten to that far yet to actually see them, but as far as I could see, they are part of the list of combatants.
Oh,
that's what I'm getting out of it, though.
Nice.
I'm not saying it for fact. I'm saying it from what I'm seeing.
Me not going too far ahead on minutes.
Yeah, I'm trying not to go too far ahead.
There we go. But no, that is still good to know for that context, though. So.
But then we see the boats of really a long shot going through like a corridor, some kind of like between the rocks, right? Like between, I don't know, very very what's the old movie? I'm gonna mess this up if I can't. Jason the Argonauts. If you've ever seen it, It's a very very old movie. I think 1920s or something like that. But that one scene kind of reminded me of the look of that movie, because we see them going through this long corridor. They have all these like rock walls on each side, but there's also these huge giant rock sculptures within the rock. And I think that's what kind of reminded me of it. Have you ever seen Jason the Argonauts?
Oh yeah. For sure.
Okay, all right.
And it makes me sad that this shot is like pretty brief, you know. It's not that
the only
long.
thing in the whole movie that looks like that, right?
And it's so it's beautiful in a way, and I wish that we could linger on this shot a little bit more. Like whenever I took a freeze frame, I'm like, I knew that there was at least one sculpture figure, but I didn't even see the other like monument almost,
right,
of another fighter. It looks like there's one fighter, the main one at the left side of the frame, that looks almost like a Viking warrior of some sort.
He's got a double-sided axe.
Yeah, he has that battle axe. He has like a spiked helmet, and I think he may also have a beard.
I think so. Yeah, I would say yes to that.
And then the
sunglasses. No, I'm not.
And sunglasses. And then the other fighter, he has a helmet on with like I can't remember what it's called. Is it a brigadier helmet or something that has like a single spike on top of the helmet? Right. And he has like, he's bare chested, but he has like pauldrons on that are armor. But you only see like his torso and up, which leads me to believe, I'm wondering if he's like maybe a centaur or something, like he's half horse, half
he could
human.
Be.
Potentially.
That could be an homage to Motaro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Actually,
maybe
because they did use a lot of Mortal Kombat 2 influences as well for this movie.
But that warrior or whatever that's standing there, he does have what looks like a pickaxe. I don't know. That's what I got out of it. It kind of looks like a pickaxe. I don't know. I could
maybe.
Yeah.
But at the very end of this shot, we hear Sonya shout like saying like Black Hawk to Cardinal.
Yes.
Black Hawk calling Cardinal. Is anybody monitoring? And then we see a shot of Sonya Blade in the boat with Johnny Cage just looking on.
Yeah. And she's talking into the walkie-talkie or whatever, trying to get a hold of Jax in this case. So it's Jax, this is Sonya, do you copy?
Yep. And the whole time.
Go ahead. I have an interesting fact about this, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, my little factoid is, in the novelization, Jax is actually Black Hawk, which I'm like, oh, that's a little bit too on the nose, don't you think? But and Sonya is Cardinal.
Oh, okay. But that was just in the story, right?
That was just in the novelization.
The novelization, okay. Well, I did a little searching, and I tried to figure out why she referred to herself as Black Hawk and why she referred to Jax as Cardinal. Unfortunately, I only got a connection to one of them.
Oh.
Fortunately, I have a connection to one of them. So the Cardinal one is the one I couldn't figure out a connection as far as Jax Cardinal. I just couldn't figure that connection. Could not find it. I've looked freaking everywhere. If someone finds it or knows it, please let us know. It's kind of killing me. The Black Hawk, though, as far as Sonya is referred to herself as, interesting, because the only connection I could figure out is in Mortal Kombat 3 is when animalities were introduced. And her animality, she turned into a hawk. And she grabbed the guy, and then ripped them apart and whatever. Like, pretty much all it was is it looked like Johnny Cage's green, like his green magic or whatever he uses. And she turns into that hawk, and it looks like a green hawk, and it grabs you and like takes you above the screen, and then there's just like bones and blood just everywhere, and that's all you see. So the only connection I could get as far as the video game and Hawk and Sonya would be that she turns into a hawk in Mortal Kombat 3 for animality. That's what I
find. I like that. I like that a lot.
How you like that?
Yeah, that's great. If I were to guess about Cardinal, it may be like a position of authority in a way, I guess.
I don't know. She's above Jax though.
I thought Jax was above Sonya though.
No, Sonya's always above Jax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, there goes that theory. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, obviously they're both they're both flying creatures. So it's it's like Black Hawk down, Cardinal down. I get it. But like the significance behind Cardinal, no idea. Ugh. I'm so mad at myself.
It's okay. I forgive you, Spanish.
But while she's saying all of that, she's Black Hawk the Cardinal. Jax, this is Sonya. Do you copy? Johnny Cage, of course, his sarcastic self says, "While you're at it, call my agent."
and then like we get a glimpse, a brief look of Sonya's reaction,
like a glare. Turns around like, what?
Like and let's talk about Johnny Cage for a minute here, because he's like, he looks snazzy. I like his outfit. Like I like the color of the shirt that he has on. Like he's in a suit. It can't be comfortable though. It seems like it would be just way too hot.
Yeah. She's wearing a long sleeve sweater too. So
fair enough.
But he's wearing a 3-piece suit. And that's really what he's saying. Yeah.
And he has his sunglasses that cost probably an undisclosed amount.
Yeah.
And he also has his Rolex on, it looks like, and he is nested really well in his designer bags that I think I counted 5 in this shot. So he has at least 5 bags with him in this one boat.
Let me ask you, do you know how much those sunglasses are?
I know how much they are, but we don't know what they are. We don't know how much they are until a very, very later minute. So we'll save that for then.
It was more of a foreshadowing question.
But that's really all the notes that I have for this minute. I don't know.
Yeah, the only other one is it kind of made me laugh. It was the Sonya's radio that she's using. I don't know. I guess maybe just because that really hasn't aged well. As far as
it is a brick. It's a brick.
She is using a brick, and it just kind of made me laugh. But the cool thing about this scene, it's really the only scene that we get that we actually see more of a close up of the dragon heads in the thing, and you only see the back of it,
right?
But you could see it that like someone took some time to make that. So I kind of wish they gave it a little bit more. You could see it better, but it is what it is.
Right. And but I mean, with how it's shot, I bet it's just something that slid over the bow of the boat.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And so that's why Johnny is
why his
there.
bags are covering up something.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And real quick about the phone, I guess it's a satellite phone. So I mean, those are a little bit heftier. They have to be bigger because they're communicating with satellites in space. But that's if this is a sat phone, but. Yeah, it's the size of regular phones as well at that time.
Sorry.
It's going to space. But this does give an indication, since she's having trouble with that reception, that they are somewhere that isn't on this earth.
Yes.
But
that's pretty much all I got. It was a fun minute, but that's all I got on this one.
Fun minute, quick minute, but we are happy that you're in it with us. And once again, that concludes this minute. I'm Phil Casper.
I'm Spanish.
And we'll see you next time on the Mortal Kombat Minute.